Every day, talented founders, investors, and leaders face the invisible walls built by gatekeepers, the ones who claim to hold the keys to opportunity, who decide who gets a seat at the table and who's left outside in the cold. It's exhausting, isn't it? Feeling like every move you make is scrutinized through filters designed to keep you small, to keep the rare, unique, driven, exceptional you at arm's length. The pain of being screened, filtered, delayed, or ignored isn't just a momentary frustration. It's a slow burn that chips away at your confidence, your momentum, your very vision for what could be. Here's the brutal truth. The gatekeepers are not just outdated. They're toxic, breeding mediocrity, strangling progress, and rewarding comfort over real innovation. They hide behind traditions, old networks, and superficial credentials, while dismissing those who dare to redefine what success looks like. The system they prop up, and that many still bow to, doesn't care about brilliance or merit. It cares about control, stability, and the preservation of a status quo that's rapidly dying. And yes, this system pretends to offer freedom, equality, and opportunity, but underneath, it's a cage made of rules and biases, silent and invisible, yet deadly. But here's something that has to be shouted. Your future doesn't have to be dictated by gatekeepers. In fact, gatekeepers are the last people who should have any say in shaping the future. You don't need their permission, their validations, or their good graces. The world is bleeding from their grip. Their era is ending because new networks, new modes of connection, and new ways of creating are breaking down every arbitrary barrier they once raised. Imagine this: a world where the power isn't hoarded by a few who claim to know best, but instead flows freely to those who prove their capacity, their vision, their relentless ambition. Where impact is no longer filtered through who you know, but who you are and what you create. This is no pipe dream. It's happening right now, just off the beaten path, off the radar of the gatekeepers who refuse to see it coming. The problem? So few know how to find this path. So many remain trapped in waiting for the perfect introduction, for the nod from the right investor, for the gatekeeper's approval. And while they wait, opportunities slip through their fingers. Potential fades, frustration mounts. The world calls them to act, to break free, but their minds are stuck in old modes of survival. To break free, the first step is brutally simple. Stop treating gatekeepers as gods. They're humans with fears, biases, and limits that modern technology and evolving systems are rapidly outpacing. Know this deeply. Gatekeepers thrive on secrecy, scarcity, and exclusivity. Their power depends entirely on you believing they control the narrative. Once that belief breaks, their throne crumbles. But how do you break that belief when every part of your experience screams otherwise? The answer is to reclaim sovereignty over your own work, your own story, your own value. This isn't about ego or arrogance. It's about recognizing the true source of power, yourself. Sovereignty means no longer outsourcing your worth to anyone else. It means building systems where your merit speaks louder than any credential, where your network isn't determined by who nods at you, but by who resonates with your fire. Here's an emotional truth you need to feel. Every founder, every investor, every leader who's ever changed the game did it by refusing to wait. They burned the rule book and rewrote it on their terms. They moved from being outsiders, begging for entry, to makers who create their own doors. They embraced the discomfort, the isolation, the uncertainty, because on the other side was freedom, a freedom of becoming more than any gatekeeper ever imagined possible. And how do you do that in practice? It's going to sound obvious, but try this. Question everything, especially the accepted rules. Why must you pitch your idea this one way? Why must you seek validation from a narrow group? Why accept the tired metrics that measure you when what really matters is your capacity to transform? Build your own infrastructure. This means not waiting for permission to create communities, networks, or platforms that reflect your values, your vision, your progress. It means finding or forming alliances with those rare few who burn as fiercely as you do, not for comfort or consensus, but for unstoppable growth and change. These are your real gate crashers, gate replacements, the future makers. They're scattered now, misunderstood, misaligned, but when they connect, the power is undeniable. Be selective with your circle. It's tiring to waste energy on those who mimic the old world's patterns of control and exclusion. The energy you spend on trying to fit in with the gatekeepers' tribe is energy stolen from your own emergence. Instead, align with those who are hungry, restless, and ready to bend reality. This alignment creates synergy that multiplies your impact exponentially. Suddenly, gatekeepers fall away, irrelevant, impotent. Patience, this might be the hardest part. The world screams for instant success, for viral moments, for quick exits. But true liberation, the kind that erases gatekeepers for good, comes from playing the long game. It's an eternal game, because exceptional is never rushed. It's crafted with care, tested in fire, refined in silence. You build lasting movements, not fleeting wins. Behind all this is an uncomfortable reality. You will lose comfort. The familiar illusions of freedom, equality, and fairness that gatekeepers cloak themselves in will have to be confronted. But this struggle, this burning, this refusal to conform is exactly where your power lives. The old system can't offer you what you crave. It was never designed for the exceptional, the radical, the unyielding. So what happens when gatekeepers lose their grip? A new era opens where the rare don't compete behind closed doors but collaborate openly in hotspots of brilliance. Where tokens of approval are replaced by proof of impact. Where community is not a checkbox but a fortress. This shift is unstoppable because it is rooted in the very fabric of human nature, the need to connect, to grow, to build beyond boundaries. For founders, this means your next investor isn't sitting behind a velvet rope. They're someone who symbiotically grows with your vision. For investors, it means finding deals not through gatekeepers who keep deals secret, but through networks built on trust, complementary talent, and shared fire. For every leader, it means dropping the facade of control and instead cultivating ecosystems of emergence, where the best rise not by climbing ladders, but by creating new grounds. You hold the power. Every thought you give to the gatekeeper is a thread in their throne. Pull back those threads. Question, innovate, connect, and burn away the old. Nothing will change unless you demand it with the fire only you carry. The question is not, are gatekeepers obsolete? The answer already is absolutely, painfully, incredibly yes. The question is, will you be the one to help bury their reign, or will you keep feeding it by waiting for its approval? Real freedom is not granted, it's seized. And it's seized together by the rare few who refuse to bend, who burn brighter than fear, who reroute the future by redefining what power really means. Gatekeepers are a relic. The future belongs to those who don't just survive their rejection, but thrive because of it. Embrace the edge, the outcast, the underestimated. Align with the few who dare to defy. Build the networks the system forgot. Own your power, unleash your vision, and watch as the gates fall, one spark at a time.